You've probably heard the advice 1,000 times. If she's not interested, just give up. Or try harder, prove yourself. But let me tell you the uncomfortable truth. Women don't miss men because they need them. They miss men who know how to create a powerful emotional presence, even when they're not around. And no, I'm not talking about tricks, games, or cheesy pickup lines. This has nothing to do with manipulation. This is about something much deeper: female psychology. Once you understand how it really works, you realize that indifference isn't permanent. It's just a reaction, and reactions can be changed. Think about it. How many times have you seen a woman dismiss a man at first, only to later find herself drawn back to him, wondering what he's about? That didn't happen by chance. That happened because he carried himself differently. He didn't chase, he didn't beg, he created space. He became unforgettable. And that's exactly what this video is about. I'm going to show you 9 ways to flip that reaction inside her mind. 9 ways to position yourself so that even if she wasn't interested at first, she begins to think about you when you're not around. This isn't about chasing harder. In fact, that's the fastest way to lose her respect. This is about stepping into your presence as a man, creating mystery, and letting her feel your absence in a way that lingers. By the end of this video, you'll see that making her miss you isn't luck, it's psychology. And it's about playing the game very differently from how most men do.
Let me tell you something most men don't want to hear. Love by itself is not enough. You can shower a woman with affection. You can buy her flowers. You can tell her how much she means to you every single day. But if all of that comes from a place of insecurity, it doesn't create attraction. It creates dependency. And dependency is the fastest way to push her away. Confidence, on the other hand, is magnetic. Think about it. Have you ever seen a woman fall head over heels for a man who wasn't the best-looking guy in the room or even the nicest? Yet somehow he had this unshakable presence, this calm certainty about himself, and she couldn't stop thinking about him. That wasn't luck. That was confidence. And I'm not talking about arrogance. I'm talking about the quiet kind of confidence, the kind that shows up in how you carry yourself, how you make decisions without second guessing, and how you're willing to walk away if you're not respected. That kind of confidence tells her, I value myself and I don't need to beg for anyone's approval. Here's the truth. Love without confidence feels weak. But confidence, even without saying a word, lingers in her mind. It's what she remembers when she's lying awake at night. It's what makes her miss you, even if she swore she wouldn't. So if you want to be unforgettable, stop trying to love harder. Start standing taller. Because confidence is more addictive than love.
Most men think the way to win a woman over is through constant communication. They text good morning. They check in all day. They send a good night just to remind her they care. On the surface, it feels like effort. But here's the truth. When your words are always available, they lose their value. Silence, though, that has weight. Silence creates space. It makes her wonder. And that wondering is far more powerful than 100 text messages. When you step back, she starts asking herself, why isn't he texting me? What's he doing? Who's he with? That tension, that curiosity, that's where attraction begins. Think of attention like currency. If you hand it out freely, it becomes pocket change, always there, never special. But when you hold back, when let silence do its work, your attention suddenly becomes rare, and people crave what's rare. Now, don't get me wrong. Silence isn't about playing childish games or ignoring her. It's about balance. It's about showing that your world doesn't revolve around her texts. A man who doesn't feel the need to constantly check in radiates independence and self-respect. And those qualities are what make her lean in. So remember this. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say to a woman is nothing at all. Let your silence carry the message, because when you stop chasing with words, you give her the chance to miss your presence.
One of the biggest mistakes men make with women is thinking that being available 24/7 will somehow win her over. You know how it goes. You cancel plans with your friends just in case she calls. You reply instantly to every message. You make sure she knows you're always there for her. On paper, it looks like effort, but in reality, it makes you predictable and forgettable. Think about it. When something is always easy to get, you stop craving it. That's not just relationships, that's human nature. When you had to fight for that dream job or save up for something rare, it meant more to you because it wasn't guaranteed. But when something is handed to you without effort, it quickly loses its shine. Women feel the same way. The truth is, she doesn't want a man who lives on standby. She's drawn to men with their own lives, their own priorities, their own passions. A man who sometimes says, "I can't tonight, I'm busy," isn't pushing her away. He's reminding her that his time is valuable, and that makes him more attractive. This isn't about being cold or distant. It's about showing that you have a world outside of her, a life she has to earn her way into. Because the more available you make yourself, the less she feels the need to miss you. But when you create space, when you let her feel your absence, that's when she starts chasing you. So remember, you don't become unforgettable by always being there. You become unforgettable by living a life worth missing.
Here's a truth most men overlook. People value what's rare. Diamonds, gold, even limited edition sneakers. What makes them valuable isn't just what they are, but the fact that they're hard to get. And the same principle applies to you as a man. If you're always around, always available, always saying yes, she won't see you as rare. She'll see you as common. But when you choose carefully where you show up, when you give your time and energy selectively, something changes. Your presence becomes special. Instead of assuming you'll always be there, she starts to treasure the moments she does get with you. And when you're gone, she feels that absence more deeply because it's not guaranteed. Think about the meals you look forward to the most. It's not the snack you can grab any time. It's the dish you only have once in a while, the one that feels like a treat. That anticipation, that craving, is exactly what scarcity creates in attraction. This doesn't mean you play hard to get or act fake. It means you live a full life. You invest in your goals, your health, your passions. You allow her in, but not all the time, not on demand. And when she does, she feels lucky. Scarcity doesn't make you less. It makes you more valuable, more memorable, more missed when you're not there. So stop giving yourself away freely. Become the man whose presence is a privilege, not a guarantee.
Too many men fall into the same trap. They see other guys giving her attention and they panic. They rush to comment first on her posts. They try to out-joke the next guy. They turned love into a contest, thinking if they just outshine the competition, she'll finally notice them. But let's be clear. Competing for her attention doesn't make you look strong. It makes you look weak. A man who knows his worth doesn't compete. He doesn't care who else is texting her, who else is looking her way, or who else is trying to win her over. Why? Because his value speaks for itself. He understands something most men never do. Attraction isn't won by fighting harder. It's created by presence, by energy, by the way you carry yourself. Think of it this way. Kings don't compete for the throne. They are the throne. A man who lives like he is the prize doesn't need to battle for validation. He simply shows up, fully himself, and the right woman recognizes it. And here's the twist. When you stop competing, her entire perception shifts. She realizes your time and energy aren't cheap. She realizes if she wants them, she has to step up. That's when respect begins. So hear this. The moment you compete for a woman's attention, you place her above you. But when you live like you are the reward, she adjusts. She sees you differently. She sees you as the man other men could never outshine.
We've all been told that honesty is the best policy. And in relationships, honesty absolutely matters. But here's the part no one talks about. When it comes to attraction, too much honesty, too soon, kills the spark. Most men think that by laying all their cards on the table, telling her every detail about their past, every plan for the future, every feeling they have, they're building connection. But what they're really doing is removing the one thing that keeps her intrigued: mystery. Think about your favorite movie or book. What keeps you turning the pages? It's not knowing everything from the start. It's the suspense, the curiosity, the space your imagination fills in. Attraction works the same way. If she knows every little thing about you within a week, there's nothing left for her to wonder about. And without wonder, there's no pull. A man with mystery makes a woman think about him even when he's not around. She wonders what he's doing, who he's with, what's going on in his mind. That wondering plants you in her thoughts far deeper than words ever could. Now, let me be clear. Mystery isn't about lying or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about holding back just enough so that she earns the right to know you over time. It's about letting her discover you layer by layer, not handing her the whole story on day one. So remember this. It's not what you tell her that makes her miss you. It's what you don't. Mystery keeps the fire alive long before love ever has the chance to grow.
Here's one of the harshest truths about human nature. People don't value what they believe they'll always have. They value what they might lose. And this applies directly to how a woman sees you. If she knows deep down that no matter what she does, you'll always be there, answering every call, replying to every text, waiting around for her, she has no reason to miss you. Why would she? You're a guarantee, and guaranteed things rarely stir desire. But the moment you shift your energy, the moment she realizes your attention is no longer permanently fixed on her, something changes. Suddenly, questions start flooding her mind. What if he's moving on? What if another woman is catching his eye? What if I let something valuable slip away? That fear of loss is powerful. It pulls her back toward you in a way endless chasing never could. Now, don't confuse this with manipulation. You're not pretending to pull away. You're actually reclaiming your life. You're investing in your goals, your friendships, your passions. You're showing her and yourself that your world doesn't orbit around her. And ironically, that's when she begins to feel your absence the most. So here's the lesson. Stop making yourself a permanent fixture in her life. Be willing to walk away. Be willing to let silence echo and let her imagination do the work. Because nothing makes a woman miss a man more than the thought of losing him and realizing she may not get him back.
Let me be blunt. The harder you chase, the faster she runs. What feels natural to you, showing effort, proving your worth, constantly reaching out, usually backfires in female psychology. Instead of drawing her closer, it makes her pull away. Here's why. Chasing flips the balance. Instead of her feeling lucky to have your attention, she sees you as the one desperately seeking hers. And nobody misses what they already have too much of. When you flood her phone with calls and texts, you've already given her all of you. There's nothing left for her to wonder about, no space for her to crave. But there's something deeper. Chasing screams insecurity. It tells her you don't see yourself as valuable enough to let her come to you. And insecurity is like kryptonite to attraction. It weakens everything. Women don't respect men who beg. They're drawn to men who stand still, who know their worth, who let the world come to them. Think of it this way. If someone offers you free food every single day, do you crave it? Probably not. But if one day it disappears, suddenly you feel the hunger. That's exactly what happens when you stop chasing. By stepping back, you create the room for her to feel your absence. So, here's the rule. Stop chasing. Stop trying to force attraction with effort. Attraction grows in space, not in suffocation. Let her feel the silence. Let her notice your absence. That's when curiosity begins, and that's when missing you truly starts.
Here's a truth most men overlook. The more energy you pour into chasing women, the less attractive you become. Why? Because it shows your world has nothing bigger to revolve around. But the moment you shift that energy back into yourself, your health, your career, your passions, everything changes. A man who invests in himself naturally becomes more valuable. When you take care of your body, you stand taller. When you pursue your goals, you radiate purpose. When you live with passion, people feel it in your presence. And women, they're drawn to progress. They notice the man who's building, who's moving forward, who doesn't need validation to feel whole. Think about it. Who's more unforgettable? The guy who spends his night scrolling her social media, waiting for her to reply? or the man who's too busy training for a marathon, building his business, or mastering his craft, to even notice she hasn't texted back. One is forgettable, the other is magnetic. This isn't about ignoring women. It's about flipping the focus. When you make yourself the project, your value rises without you having to prove anything. And ironically, that's when women start chasing you, because your life looks rich, exciting, and full, with or without them. So here's the lesson. Stop waiting for love to complete you. Start becoming the man you're proud of. Because a man who's busy building a life worth living doesn't need to be remembered. He's impossible to forget.
Here's the bottom line. Women don't miss the nice guy who's always available, always predictable, always waiting around. They miss the man who creates space, the man who carries a little mystery, the man who respects himself enough not to beg for attention. And I know that truth stings a little, because most of us were raised to believe the opposite, that chasing, proving, competing would somehow earn us love. But in reality, those things don't make you stand out. They make you blend into the crowd, and a man lost in the crowd is never remembered. But the moment you flip the script, when you step into your own confidence, when you hold back just enough, when you live for yourself instead of orbiting around her, that's when she notices. That's when she begins to feel your absence, and that's when missing you becomes inevitable. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever found yourself chasing too hard only to lose her interest? Or maybe you've seen the opposite, where silence, where stepping back actually pulled her back toward you. Share your story in the comments. I'll be reading, I'll respond, and I might even guide you directly through your situation. And before you go, this journey doesn't end here. In the next video, we'll talk about something even more important. Why giving a woman your full loyalty too soon might be the very reason she pulls away. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you're the first to know when it drops.